All right, today we're going to talk about something we all deal with, that feeling of being pulled in a million directions. We're going to explore how you can move from all that chaos to a place of real, sharp clarity. Let's dive in. So, does this feel familiar? That constant juggling act with competing priorities, endless choices, where everything seems important, everything feels urgent. It is absolutely exhausting, but here's the thing, it doesn't have to be your normal. And look, if you feel this way, the first thing you need to know is that you are definitely not alone. We're all grappling with this. It's a totally modern challenge. The solution isn't some magic bullet. It's about finding a better process.
Okay, so let's really frame the problem here. We're gonna call it the decision dilemma. And it's all about digging into why making good, solid decisions can feel so impossible when you've got so many things demanding your attention.
But here's the goal, and it's a big one. It's to shift from just reacting to all the chaos to actually leading with focus. It's about going from being pulled apart to striding forward with real confidence. That's the transformation we're talking about.
So, how do we actually do that? How do we make that shift? Well, the key is to build a framework for clarity. It sounds complicated, but it's really just about using a simple structure to cut through all the noise. And this is the core idea, a strategic framework. Now, don't let the name throw you off. This isn't some rigid corporate system. Just think of it as a mental toolkit, you know? It's what lets you filter out all the noise, really look at your options, and make a call from a place of confidence, not anxiety. This slide shows the two paths, crystal clear. Over on the left, you've got reactive choices. That's when you're just driven by what's screaming the loudest. It's all short-term, and we all know where it leads, burnout. But on the right, that's the strategic path. Decisions are driven by your actual goals, they're focused on the long term, and they lead to that clarity we're all after. Okay, so this brings us to the most practical part. Let's talk about a process for precision. And this isn't just theory, okay? This is a simple, actionable method you can use for any decision, big or small. So here's the three-step process. First up, weigh alternatives. This means you stop and you actually compare your options side by side. You know, should I tackle this quick win project or that tougher one that could lead to huge growth later? Step two, assess risks. For each of those options, you ask, what's the worst that could happen? That quick project? Low risk, but the downside is it doesn't really move you forward. The big one? The risk is it might fail. And then step three, and this is absolutely the most critical step. You determine what matters most. This is your compass. If your main goal is long-term growth, well, suddenly the choice becomes much clearer, doesn't it? The harder project, even with its risks, is the one that's truly aligned with where you want to go. And you know, when you start doing this consistently, something pretty amazing starts to happen. You stop just making one-off choices, and you start building an actual coherent strategy. The real power here is in balancing all those things you need to do. This quote from our source material it hits the nail on the head. The whole point isn't to pretend the urgent stuff doesn't exist. Of course it does. The goal is to figure out how to handle those immediate needs in a way that also serves your long-term goals. That right there is the sweet spot. And this table, this basically tells the whole story. Look at the before column. Overwhelmed, scattered, burnout. Sound familiar? Yeah. But then look at the after side. Confident, focused, decisive. That's a fundamental change, not just in what you get done, but in how you actually feel. Okay, so let's bring this all home. How do we turn these ideas into action? This last part is all about your next step, about taking this framework off the screen and actually putting it into practice in your life. So, think of this as your strategic toolkit. The key ideas are really simple. Use a framework to simplify things. Always weigh your options and think about the risks. And, above all, make sure your decisions line up with what really matters to you. It's about balancing today with tomorrow and leading with focus. This is how you take back control. And that leaves us with one final and I think powerful question for you. This isn't about changing everything all at once. It's about starting small, starting now. So look at the day ahead of you. What is the one decision, just one, that you're going to make a little more strategically today?